In part 2 of the legendary Liberace, he becomes one of early television's major stars, along with Lucy, Lawrence Welk, and Ed Sullivan. All of these legendary performers have been a part of public television programs. Thanks to your generous support, please help this station continue their fine work, bringing you the best entertainment possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne, and we'll be back for Act 2 of the Legendary Liberace, the story of the man called Mr. Showmanship, in just a few minutes. But now it's time for you to express your appreciation to this public television station and make that pledge of financial support to the phone number on the bottom of your screen. We have some great volunteers here. They're ready to take your call. And by the way, joining me in just a few minutes will be the one and only Joanne Castle herself, and she might just take a little whack at the old piano that's here in our studio. So stay with us for that. Meantime, my name is Jim Scalem, and I have the great pleasure of being the co-producer director of this program with my colleague Joanne Young. And we've produced many programs. In fact, Joanne Young has produced some 44 specials for public television over the last 20 years. All of them, just about all of them, were fundraising specials because people like Joanne Young and Joanne Castle and all the people associated now with the Liberace Museum in Las Vegas and with the memory of Liberace, they believe in public television stations like this one. And if you do, make that call and express your appreciation for this program. And we have some terrific thank you gifts that I want to tell you about for your pledge of financial support. If you pledge a contribution of $100, we have the show you're watching, The Legendary Liberace. It's on either VHS or DVD, and it comes with 15 to 25 minutes of bonus material, things that we didn't have time to fit in the show tonight. For example, the collections manager at the Liberace Museum, Brian Alvarez, will take you on a tour of all the wonderful pianos and automobiles that are in that museum, things that Liberace bought. He was a great collector, and, well, you're going to really love that. And we have a visit with Pauline Lachance, who was the president of the Liberace fan club and the archivist when the museum first got going in the late 70s in Las Vegas. She tells us the viewpoint of how fans of Liberace reacted to him and how he treated them, which was absolutely wonderful. And producer Jim Pearson, who's putting the bonus material together, has located some rare material of Liberace on the Hollywood Palace doing a dance duet with Sammy Davis Jr. So all of that plus the 75-minute show that you're watching right now. Now, if you can afford a little more, $225 contribution, hey, this is my favorite item, my favorite thank you gift. It is 5 VHS tapes, 75 minutes on each tape, over 6 hours of performances by Liberace from these early black and white shows that we're showing you on the show today. And this is a wonderful collection. Much of what you're seeing in the program comes from these compilation tapes, but you're going to see and hear a lot more. 5 tapes, 75 minutes per tape, over 6 hours of material on this 5 VHS set. And it's yours for a contribution of $225. Okay, moving along, we have some wonderful music by Liberace on CD. This is a special companion CD that our friend John Delgado created. 23 tracks, music from the show tonight, musical highlights. Not every single song that we feature, but many of them. Things like Saber Dance that you just heard, Humoresque, April in Portugal, Santa Lucia, I've Been Working on the Railroad, Bumblebee Boogie, Beer Barrel Polka, and of course the unforgettable closing theme of Liberace, I'll Be Seeing You. So it really will amplify your enjoyment of tonight's program. That's yours for $75 contribution. Now, for a contribution of $120, we have a terrific 2 CD set of Liberace in Performance, 1984, with the London Philharmonic Orchestra. And wonderful things on this, a Strauss medley, wonderful classical concertos. This is music that you will want to have if you're a Liberace fan. And if you want all 3 of these CDs, you can have them special audio combo at $150 for your pledge, your contribution, $150. Now, we have still more. If you can only afford a $50 contribution, we'd love to have it, and this will be our gift to you. This is actually a magnet that you can find in the Liberace Museum store in Las Vegas. We thought it was terrific, and we'll send it along to you if you pledge $50. Now, if you pledge $60, hey, This is a Liberace t-shirt. Now, you see it's black. It's got the lettering. It's got the famous Liberace logo on there. And you see there to the right, that's how it comes packaged. It comes packaged as a piano. And you can have it for your pledge of $60. Call that number at the bottom of your screen. It's our way of thanking you for supporting Liberace and his wonderful music and this public television station. Now, for a $600 contribution, we will send you everything. Every item that I've told you about and 2 more, which I'm about to tell you about. Yours for a $600 contribution to help this public television station keep its great programming going for yet another year. Now, if you pledge any amount, $50 on up, we'll also send you 2 passes for admission to the Liberace Museum in Las Vegas. Now, you got to get to Las Vegas, but many of you will and can, I'm sure, and you'll have 2 passes to go. You must not miss the experience of the Liberace Museum. Now, if you pledge your membership on a credit card, which we urge you to do, because it's a lot easier for us to process it and everything, we will send you a special bonus, which is a 1-year subscription. 3 issues come out every year of the Liberace newsletter put together by Jamie James, who you're meeting in the program. And it's all kind of things about what's going on at the museum, which is a terrific place to visit. So you'll get that newsletter for your credit card pledge in addition to whatever other premium you choose. And now it's time for me to introduce the lady, well, the lady in red, but now she's become the lady in blue, the one and only Joanne Castle. How you doing, Joanne?
I'm doing great, and I'm so proud to be here, part of this wonderful special of Liberace.
Yeah.
What a wonderful man, what a great entertainer, and I think everybody should have this at their home. Everybody. If the music is beautiful, he goes from classical to ragtime to boogie woogie and polkas. He even plays the honky tonk piano.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know that. I must have missed that show in the 50s, but it's on tape here. It's wonderful.
Well, I know that you had the opportunity to actually go through all of the 5 VHS set, and
Yes.
took you a lot more than one night, didn't
Well, first of all, I went back and forth. I repeated it. It's so great. I mean, so many things. You know, he was a pioneer of television where they did a lot of tricks on television, which today, they're just still doing it. But there were a lot of tricks that you'll see on these 5 videos. And black and white, and as a kid, I watched Liberace.
It was kind of actually, in many ways, the precursor of Bernie Kovacs from that standpoint.
Exactly.
And you're going to see actually a little montage coming up in the second act that kind of illustrates that point, including something very special. We won't give it away, but something that involves you, Joanne.
Yes, I'm so happy about this part. I can't wait for everybody to see the second half.
Right, right. So give us a call. There's the number on your bottom of your screen there, and probably shows you also the credit cards that this station will accept. And, you know, if you're not a member of this public television station, there is no better time than you to become one for the first time right now. And ask the volunteers what the basic membership dollar amount is for this station, and they will tell you about that. So make that call, make our phones ring, and get one of these great thank you gifts that we've been telling you about. And stay with us, because in just a few minutes, Joanne is going to favor us at the keyboards. You know, Joanne, you were telling me that you used to watch Liberace when you were about 12 years old. Huh?
Started about, I think it was about 12 years old. We got our television set when I was about 11 or 12 or something like that.
Yeah.
And Liberace would come on. My father used to say, well, young lady, sit down there and watch this man. He's got something. If you want to get anywhere in this business, you'll watch somebody who's already there. And I used to, you know, being stubborn and 12, I used to sit there with my eyes kind of closed, and I'd open up one eye, and I saw this man. It was like great. And I said, I want to be that. I want to do that. I want to be on television. I want to play the piano like that. And that was a big inspiration for my career, seeing Liberace and what he did to just playing the piano on television. You wouldn't think that a pianist would make so much noise and be so popular with playing the piano, but this man had it. It was destined to be.
And he was also so wonderful with his fans, wasn't he?
Gracious. I spent many times with him and knew him at his home and knew him with fans, and he always took time out to shake their hands, sign autographs, ask them questions, feel personal. People loved Liberace. He was a warm, wonderful human being and very talented.
Very similar to the relationship of the fans to you and all the other stars of the Lawrence Welk show, right?
Well, you know, it does kind of fit.
Yeah.
The Liberace fans and the Lawrence Welk fans I think they're sort of the same. They like good, wholesome, good stuff.
Right.
You know, and you just don't find that stuff anymore.
Except
on public
television stations right here,
That's right.
like this one that you're watching.
Exactly.
So give our volunteers a call. We're hearing some good phones ringing in the background. Make them ring even further. Get one of those great thank you gifts and pay your tribute to the memory of this wonderful man that we're tributing in this show tonight, the legendary Liberace.
The one and only.
Huh?
The one and only.
The one and only, absolutely. Time to remind everybody real quick that you can get the VHS of our program that you're seeing, and you can also get it on DVD, which is the coming thing now, isn't it, Joanne?
I don't have it yet, but
you will.
I'm going to get it, though.
I can do it on my laptop, you know? And you can get it for a $100 contribution, either the VHS or the DVD, and it's got 15 to 25 minutes of bonus material, things that we didn't have time to fit in the program, things I mentioned to you, and also some special performances by Liberace that we couldn't get in from the early 50s black and white shows. You can get for $225 the fantastic 5 VHS set, which has over 6 hours of Liberace performing from these 1950s shows. Some things that you are seeing, and many, 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 many other things that are not in the show. Okay, now, without further ado, I want to go over to our special piano here and take you back over to the one and only Joanne Castle.
Okay, here I am in blue, feathers and all, to give you a little boogie woogie. All right, let's hit it. Okay.
That was great.
Whoa.
That's Pine Top Boogie?
That was Tommy Dorsey's big hit, yes. But it was written by Pine Top Smith, the piano player.
Really?
Called Pine Top Boogie.
All right.
That's my version, though.
Where else but on public television would you learn incredibly useful facts
That's
like that,
right?
And now it is time for you to make that call. We have less than a minute till we go back to Act 2 of the fabulous, wonderful, legendary Liberace. But in that time, and as we go back into the show, our volunteers will be here to take your call. There are many thank you gifts that you can have. We've been through them. My favorite is that 5 VHS set, Joanne,
yes.
that has over 6 hours of material.
I know. I looked all 6 hours over and over and over. I was amazed. It's beautiful. It's great.
It is. It's absolutely terrific. So make your financial support to this public television station. It's very important that we hear from you. This is a very important drive for the station.
Yes.
Make the phones ring.
Liberace's world gets even more fabulous in the 60s when television goes to color and his costumes go over the top. Public television can be your magic looking glass into the past, present, and future, but only if you continue your generous financial support. Please call this station right now and help them smile all the way to the bank. We'll have more of Mr. Showmanship, the legendary Liberace, in just a few minutes. But now, this station really needs to hear from all of you Liberace fans with your pledge. Just call that phone number on your screen, and there's some great Liberace thank you gifts you can choose from. Please make that call right now. Thank you.
And we'll be back for the third and final act of the Legendary Liberace in just a few minutes here on this public television station. And there's some great things coming up of Liberace in his Las Vegas years. Wait till you see some of the costumes. Oh, my God. But right now, it's time for you to make that call and pledge your financial support to this public television station. And as Joanne Castle, who will be back with us in the studio here in just a couple of minutes and be doing another little tune on the piano, as Joanne just said, we have some wonderful Liberace thank you gifts to thank you on behalf of this station for your financial support. The first, of course, is the VHS or DVD of our program, our 75-minute program, and it has about 20 minutes or so of bonus material that we didn't have the room to fit into the program. And those include a tour of all of the automobiles and all of the pianos in the Liberace Museum, conducted by collections manager Brian Alvarez. It includes a visit with Pauline Lachasse, the super fan of Liberace. She was also the archivist at the museum for many years. And Jim Pearson, our producer of the bonus material, has found some wonderful segments from Liberace's appearance on the Hollywood Palace TV show in the 1960s, including a wonderful dance duet with Sammy Davis Jr. All of that, your contribution of $100, and here it is, and you can have it either in VHS or DVD format. Now, for $225, of course, it's my favorite item, and Joanne's too, and that is this 5 VHS collection put together by our good friends at MPI, and it is over 6 hours of material taken from these very same 1950s black and white television shows that you've been looking at, and some of the highlights will be familiar to you as you've seen bits of them on this show tonight, like the wonderful song done by the way, her name is Libby Morris. She was a chorus girl on the show. That was that woman that was singing When Liberace Winked at Me. Well, we have the whole song. You have the whole song here. You have all of Hey Liberace, the song that he did, the two Liberaces, the two Georges. Things that we just showed fragments of on this show are in their entirety on this wonderful collection, over 6 hours of material, yours for a contribution of $225. Now, we also have developed through our friend John Delgado a companion CD, musical highlights from our program. There are 23 tracks on here, things that sometimes, again, are only performed in part on the program. Wonderful songs like the Chopin Chopsticks that you just heard, Malagueña, Sabre Dance, many other things, Humoresque that you just heard in the second act on this special CD, yours for a pledge of $75. It's called, of course, the Legendary Liberace. What else? Now, for a pledge of $120, we have a 2-CD set, the 1984 Liberace concert at the Wembley Centre in London with the London Philharmonic Orchestra, and you'll see some excerpts from it in our next act. And for a $150 contribution, a special combo, you can have all 3 of those CDs. Joanne, come on in.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. I just love this. I'm
yeah,
so
we're getting a good response, huh?
Wonderful response, and I'm so proud I was asked to be the host of this show. That really made me feel good.
Well, we loved having you do it, and it was fun to be at the museum, wasn't it?
Oh, it was great. The
long
costumes,
hours, but...
Long hours and all those cars. People are not going to believe the cars and the clothes. Of course, this is one of Liberace's outfits. Looks good on me. It looks good on me, doesn't it?
It does, it does. Well, here's another special gift. This is a good one, Joanne.
Yeah.
For a $50 contribution, you can have this wonderful little magnet. It's not so little, actually. And, if you can only afford $50, we'd love to have your contribution.
Will you take a check? That's what I want. I want the magnet for my refrigerator.
You got it.
Okay.
$50 contribution to this station. That's all it takes.
Okay.
Now, for a $60 contribution, well, we have something that you could find at the Liberace Museum store. It's this great black T-shirt with the Liberace logo on it. And see that little item right to the right of it there on your screen? Well,
that'd make a nice present for somebody.
Yeah, it would, and this is how it comes,
there's a lot of women, they're grandmas like that, and there's always Christmas, there's Mother's Days, all kinds of holidays. This is a great little item just to keep on hand to give to give grandma or something as a souvenir.
That's right, and see, it comes like this. It's packed up in the shape of the piano.
I love that.
What else? Just like Liberace's swimming pool. It looks like a piano. Okay, you can have this for a pledge of $60. Now, for a pledge of $60, $600, we will send you everything. It's what we call our Mr. Showmanship Grand Slam Combo. And it has all the items that I have just described. And you can get them for a pledge of $600. Okay, now everybody who pledges, no matter how much, they're going to get 2 passes to our wonderful home where we shot this show, the Liberace Museum.
Which is fantastic.
So you have to get yourself to Las Vegas, of course, but when you're there, you can use these 2 passes, and it's a special bonus no matter what you pledge or what other thank you gift that you request. Now, one final thing, and that is we love to get pledges on credit card. So use one of the credit cards that you see on the bottom of your screen, and we will send you, again, as a bonus, in addition to whatever other gift you choose, a subscription to the Liberace newsletter, which comes out 3 times a year. You've got a 1-year subscription. It's put together by Jamie James, who you've met during the show tonight, Liberace's longtime public relations guy, who probably knows more about Liberace than any other person on this planet.
Yes, I was very privileged to have met Liberace, been to his home. I had dinner with him. I used to even play the slot machines in Lake Tahoe with Liberace when we worked together. And this man was so gracious and so wonderful that when fans would come up to him, he would take time out to shake their hands, sign their autograph, and if he had a little souvenir on him at the time, he would give it to the public. And I have to admire this man. This is a wonderful special, and I think everybody should have this because you don't see shows like this on regular television. And PBS is putting on this great special, and I think everybody should have this in their home. And also during the 50s, that 5-volume, the 6 hour, the 6 hours I looked at, I kept running it back and forth. I couldn't believe that Liberace was doing things that was like in black and white days, the little tricks that they do today. So he was a pioneer of television, and nobody realized it. You know, he was a pioneer.
He was, yeah.
He's on a split screen.
That's right.
He's over here and he's over here. You see that today. I mean, Liberace was doing it in 52 and 53.
It's interesting, Joanne, you know, in the next act, we're going to see some of the color specials he did.
Yes.
20 years, 30 years yet later. And that production techniques are not as good as the black and white shows.
No, the black and white shows, those are my favorites. I mean, I'm glad you let me keep them, did you? Thank you.
Absolutely. But you know, Joanne, this wonderful number that everybody just saw, that you performed, this duet, that we crafted after many, many weeks of planning.
Put me on the lid. That's what I'm on the lid. That's what the lid. Wasn't it great?
Yeah, and actually, well, we were kind of inspired by those kind of effects.
Well,
and that's how we put you on the lid.
Right. Well, they get that package of the 5 videos. They're going to see the number without me on the lid.
That's right.
Because on those 5, you're going to see what was really on the lid.
Somebody else was
Somebody
there.
was
We
on
won't
the
tell
lid.
you.
Don't tell you. So you have to get that 5-volume.
That's right.
But they took that little something off, that person, and put me on the lid.
Right. So that's for your pledge of $225, that 5 VHS set. So give us a call, pledge that financial support right now. And those phones are still ringing, so make that call and pledge your financial support to this station that has brought Liberace back to television. Now, Joanne, you had some great times with Liberace. Where was it? In Reno?
In Reno, that's right. We were playing Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
He was across the street with his show, and Lawrence Welk and our show was across the street, and around 2 or 3, the show's end, you know. He'd come over and he'd signal to me like this, and he'd say, "Come on, let's play the slots, please."
The slots?
Yeah, he didn't have an entourage. He didn't have anybody with him. He came over in his casual clothes, and he did dress in a casual way. And we'd play the slots for a couple hours, and people would say, "There's Liberace. It's Liberace." They'd come over, and he was so wonderful to him. And he introduced, "Well, did you know this is Joanne Castle right here." That's my imitation.
Oh, really?
Like that? Well,
Which little you ain't.
I don't do any imitation. But they said, they said 2 pianists in 1. So we had fun. I mean, he loved to gamble that way, the slots.
You know, I wonder, being that so much of his career was in like Las Vegas, I wonder if any of the hotels, like maybe the Hilton where he appeared, you know, I wonder if they created a Liberace slot machine.
I don't know, but he loved to play them. I don't think he played anything else. I mean, he was frugal. But he always gave money to people who were his friends.
Very generous.
Very generous to his mother. Very generous He even gave me a little piano, you know, as a gift.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in the next break.
I came too fast.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, that's okay.
we got another break.
But you know, if you make that call right now, we have all these special thank you gifts, and I think one of the ones that's really good is to get all 3 of those CDs, the 2 CD set with the London Philharmonic, and the companion CD to our program that you can get together for a pledge of $150. So make our volunteers really, really busy. The sound of music in this studio is the sound of your phone calls. Make one right now. If you do make that call to this public television station, you are supporting good, wholesome programming. Now, many of the stations that are carrying us right now, Joanne, do carry the weekly Lawrence Welk series that you were with for so many years.
Right.
And there have been some many specials done, like the Milestones and Memories one that was done.
That was the big reunion with 47 of us getting together, those that could. And that, I mean, we had a terrific response for that. And that's why I think this Liberace special is going to get the same response, because people don't see these kind of shows on television anymore. And I think they miss them. I really think these people that are watching this special saying, gosh, that's good. I missed that. Why aren't I seeing something like this anymore? You don't, only on public television.
That's right. Well, the Ed Sullivan Show has been brought back to public television. Lawrence Welk came back 15 years ago. And why?
And we're still on.
Because there was a very successful fundraising show that our friend Joanne Young, who co-produced this show on Liberace with me, produced, called Lawrence Welk, The Man and His Music. And because it was so successful, they were able to bring back the old Welk shows, which are still running on public television stations. Well, you know, there might be a possibility if we get enough financial support, enough demonstration that, you know, you want to see more Liberace. Who knows, it might be possible to do that with these old black and white shows, to bring them back to public television, perhaps on a weekly basis. So you're really voting when you pledge those dollars. Okay, let's take a look right now at the 5 VHS set that you can get for $225, over 6 hours of wonderful music and entertainment from the 1950s Liberace TV shows that you've been enjoying on tonight's show. It's a terrific gift for any Liberace fan, so make that pledge right now. And while you're doing it, a little more music from the one and only Joanne Castle. What do you got? Some kind of a cat, Joanne?
Well, a pianist by the name of Bent Fabric wrote this and played this and made a hit record out of it, and it's called Alley Cat. So let's hit it.
Joanne.
Yes.
Okay, get back to that telephone now. I know you were rooted to hearing Joanne Castle play Alley Cat by Bent Fabric. Probably a friend of Liberace's, actually.
Yes.
But make that phone call. We have one more act to go, and I know you're going to enjoy this. But give us a call. Our volunteers will be here through the program. Get one of those special Liberace thank you gifts, and we'll be back after to hear more with Joanne. Oh, wow. Well, as Joanne Castle said, we'll be seeing you, Lee, and we hope you've enjoyed the tribute to the wonderful, the legendary Liberace. And with this show, we hope that his memory will linger on, as it well should, well into the future, in fact, forevermore. So if you've enjoyed this program tonight, we invite you now to make that call, if you haven't already, to this public television station and offer your pledge of financial support. Already hear some phones ringing in the background. Joanne Castle will be back with us in the studio here in just a couple of minutes. And she'll also be favoring us with another tune on the piano and a couple of stories about her reminiscences about Liberace. But now, please make that call. Please celebrate the life, the wonderful entertainment skills, the showmanship, the flair of the legendary Liberace. Make that call of financial support right now. The number's on the bottom of your screen. My name is Jim Scalem. I was so pleased to be the producer-director of this program with my colleague Joanne Young, who's produced, oh gosh, more wonderful public television specials than anyone else on this planet. We were so pleased to be given the opportunity to pay tribute to Liberace. Now you can pay tribute to the man called Mr. Showmanship with your pledge of financial support. Okay, here's our first thank you gift. It is a copy on VHS or DVD of the program you've just watched, all 76 minutes of it, plus about 20 minutes of bonus material put together by Jim Pearson of MPI. And it includes a tour of the Liberace Museum's collection of antique pianos, about 17 of them, and all the wonderful automobiles, all the wonderful Rolls Royces, including the red, white, and blue one. That tour conducted by the museum's collection manager, Brian Alvarez. That's yours for a pledge of $100, either on VHS or DVD. Now, for a pledge of $225, well, this is Joanne Castle's and my favorite special thank you gift. It is this 5-volume set of highlights from the 4 or 5 years or so of the 1950s Liberace black and white television shows that we used so much here on especially in the first 2 acts of this show, and kind of blended in here at the end on I'll Be Seeing You. And there are over 6 hours of Liberace performances, many things that, of course, we didn't show in this program because we didn't have the time. So you'll have Liberace for many days and nights in your home on this special 5 VHS set that is yours for contribution to this station. Keep its programming alive and well for another year of $225. And, you know, we're especially inviting those of you who are not members of this station to become a new member with this program tonight and show your support of Liberace, and maybe we'll be able to show some of these black and white shows on this station someday if your financial support is at a high enough level for the rights and the clearances to be afforded by this station. Okay, moving along, for a $75 pledge, we have the companion CD put together by John Delgado, 23 pieces of music from this show, but in their entirety. So things like Humoresque and the Sabre Dance and Malagueña, things like April in Portugal, Santa Lucia, and of course, I'll Be Seeing You. All and many more on this CD called The Legendary Liberace. And for a $120 contribution, we have this 2 CD set of Liberace performing with the London Philharmonic Orchestra in 1984 at the Wembley Centre in London. And we used a couple of numbers from it in the 3rd and final act that you just saw. But this includes classic concertos from Tchaikovsky and Liszt and Chopin, Rachmaninoff, Beethoven. It includes Malagueña. It includes the famous Chopsticks arrangement by Liberace. It includes a Strauss medley. You saw some of that with the Blue Danube Waltz, a Gershwin medley, including Rhapsody in Blue and Swanee and The Man I Love, the Mexican medley, including Mexican Hat Dance, Spanish Eyes, La Paloma. This is a wonderful 2 CD set that you can have for a $120 contribution. Now, if you'd like both of these audio recordings, you can have them, all 3 of them, for a pledge, all 3 CDs, for a pledge of $150. Such a deal. So give us a call. Number's on the bottom of your screen. And right now, I want to show you something that we had to leave out of the show, that we didn't have enough time to put in the show. And that was our friend Joanne Castle, who will be with me live in just a second. But Joanne had a nice story to tell about, well, let her tell it. Joanne?
Christmas was Liberace's favorite holiday, and I had the pleasure of going to one of his wonderful Christmas parties in his elegant Hollywood Hills home. There were dozens of celebrity guests there, and each person received a gift, including me. My gift was this beautiful little piano, and I truly treasure it. Close friends and family were given fabulous gifts, and he gave his mother a full-length mink coat. When she opened it, she said, "Oh, Lee, what am I going to do with the one you gave me last year?"
Great story.
That's true. Everybody in the room said, "I'll take it."
Well, again, Joanne, you have transformed yourself from the lady in red to the lady in blue.
Well, you know, I had to keep up with Liberace, after all.
He's your role model, right?
He's my role model. You got it.
Well, let's see. We have some other thank you gifts to talk about. We have the wonderful magnet.
Yes.
That is yours for just a nice little contribution of $50, but we love to have those small contributions if you can't afford more, and we want to send you this little special thank you gift. And you wanted it, didn't you?
That's mine. I said, "Will you take a check?"
Yeah, well, we'll take anything. $60, we have the special Liberace t-shirt that you can find in the Liberace Museum store in Las Vegas. And it comes all folded up, as you can see there on the right of your screen, in the shape of a piano.
That is
and I know
clever.
that the folks at the museum, Jeff White, who runs the store there, told me that many folks actually never open the package.
No,
They just
I
leave it
wouldn't.
like this.
I wouldn't either. It's darling. It's a piano.
So you can have that for a $60 contribution. And then everyone who pledges, no matter what amount, $50 on up, whatever, you can have as a special bonus, in addition to whatever thank you gift you choose, you can have the 2 passes to the Liberace Museum in Las Vegas that we've talked about so much, where we shot your host segments and some of the other things in our show. You can see all the automobiles and the pianos and everything.
You can see it in the shots, some of my shots.
That's
the
right.
pianos were behind me, and they were absolutely gorgeous.
Including the rhinestone one that you played with Liberace.
Yes, I played his perfectly rhinestone piano.
As opposed to cowboy.
Exactly.
And we also have, as a bonus, if you pledge on credit card, we send you this wonderful subscription 1 year to the Liberace newsletter. You get 3 of them during the course of the year, and all you have to do is pledge on one of the credit cards on the bottom of your screen to get that, in addition to whatever other premium you choose. So make that call. And for a $600 contribution toward the wonderful programming that this station brings you 365 days a year, we will send you everything, Joanne. Every single item we've been talking about. The works.
The works.
It's our Grand Slam Mr. Showmanship combo. Every single item, the passes to the museum, the newsletter subscription, the T-shirt, everything. You know,
CD,
the CDs, the
classical
VHSs.
Music.
Yeah, we'll throw in a candelabra. No, sorry, we can't
Don't say
afford
that.
that. But you know, Joanne, the ending of the show, of course, was very, very moving.
Emotional. Very emotional.
And it moved you when you were taping our host segment.
I know. I didn't want to, but I broke up, as you can hear in my voice. Then you put the show together, and you sent me a copy.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and sure enough, I cried at the very end, and I called a friend who saw it too, because I gave her a copy.
Yeah.
And I said, "Did it affect you just like it affected me?" She says, "Oh, it did." So I think when the people saw this, and as you see this, and right now, I bet there's a lot of people at home who are crying at the end of this 3rd segment.
Well, it's nice of you to say, and
You did a great job putting it together.
Thank you, and I want to play special tribute to our friend Joanne
Young too,
who co-produced the show with me, and our editor, Deborah Anderson, who did a really, really terrific job and made you appear on the lid of that piano.
Yes, how about that? I'm in the lid of the piano, and when you get the original tapes, you're going to see what was really on the lid of that piano. They got rid of and put me on the lid.
We won't tell you, but it's
Magic
pretty
of
special.
television. Magic. Magic.
Absolutely. And remember that those 5 VHSs are yours for $225, and there are 75 minutes of Liberace highlights from his black and white shows on those 5 tapes, on each of those 5 tapes. So over 6 hours of Liberace can be yours for a pledge of $225.
I do hope that dog is for sale.
So make our volunteers busy and keep the phones going. We have just a few minutes left. Joanne is going to favor us with another number in just a minute or two. And in fact, it's a special tribute that she wants to pay to Liberace. But what final words do you have about why folks should support this public television station?
Because you just don't see shows like this anywhere else. The Lawrence Welk Show, Liberace Special, the 3 Tenors, all these wonderful shows. Where else are you going to find them but on public television? And there's no automobile sponsors. It's you out there sitting at home. You're dictating to the station that you're listening to and watching. You're telling them, this is the kind of show I want to see more of. when you call in your pledge.
Absolutely right. And remember that we have some wonderful CD recordings for you. For a $75 pledge, you can have the companion CD produced by our friend John Delgado, 23 full musical numbers from the show you've just seen. And then you can have, for a $120 pledge, you can have the 2 CD set of Liberace with the London Philharmonic Orchestra, which includes that Blue Danube Waltz with the Dancing Waters that you saw earlier in our program. And for a $150 pledge, all 3 of those CDs. And now, let's go over to our grand piano and the grand Ms. Joanne Castle with some Scott Joplin, right?
I believe so. In fact, this is my tribute to one of the greatest entertainers of all time. You saw it tonight, the legendary Liberace. Here is the entertainer. Take it away. Yes. All right.
All right. Thank you, Joanne. That was
Thank you
great.
very much. Thank you.
Okay, now listen. There's still plenty of time for you to call in your pledge and make Joanne happy.
Yes.
And all of us who worked on this show and all the folks at this public television station. So make that call. The number's on the bottom of your screen. We've told you about the thank you gifts. They're terrific souvenirs of this time with Liberace. And right now, as we end this particular break, our volunteers will, of course, stay with us, answer the phones, so make that call. And right now, we'd like to have a final bit of music from Liberace, playing one of his favorite composers. In fact, he was known as the Chopin of TV.
Yes, he was.
And while you watch this and listen to this, you'll see the names of the people who made this program just for you and for Liberace.